So lots of disruption in the job market right now, especially for those working in the tech space. It can feel like you're fighting against AI and AI systems to find a job, whether you're dealing with an automated applicant system or just looking different skills that you might need to compete in the current job market. So we're going to take a look today at how you can put AI to work for you if you're looking for a job or just trying to do some professional networking or build your career. So we're going to take a look at Microsoft 365 and the Researcher AI agent. So welcome to the Talk to Me PDD podcast. I'm your host, PDD. This is a podcast where we talk about technology, AI, society, leadership, management, lots and lots of different things. So excited to have you here. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Find me on all the various different platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Find me on my website, petermcwrites.com. So check it out. This is episode 44, M365 Researcher AI Agent, Networking and Job Search. So this is going to be a more visual episode. We'll show some examples, going through some prompts. If you're listening on the audio only version, you may want to check it out. I will put all the prompts that I use in these different examples in the show notes, so you can get them from there if you're interested. So now, before we go into the hands-on piece with the M365 Researcher AI agent, it's I think useful to ground ourselves in a basic definition of what an AI agent is. And I think the best one, or the simplest one that I like to use, is three parts. You have an LLM, you have the large language model that's giving it this natural language understanding. You have a specific goal of what the agent is trying to accomplish. And then you have some tools that the agent can access. That can be specific knowledge sources, the ability to search the web, to run code, all sorts of different things. So bear that in mind when people talk about AI agents. That's a good frame of reference to have. So Researcher is an out-of-the-box AI agent that comes in the M365 environment. If you have a Copilot Studio license, many people might have this within their organization, but you can also go ahead and set it up in your own tenant if you want to. That's what I've done in these examples. You just need a Copilot Studio license, and it's pretty cheap right now. It was under $20 a month when I set it up. That lets you do things like build in Copilot Studio and lots of other features in addition to using the large language model capabilities. So some of the unique features about Researcher is it's really good at pulling in information from different sources, using both content that you provide or content within your organization, and then going out on the web and finding different materials and using that to connect the two together and look at sources of research and combine knowledge in different ways. So synthesizing and structuring a bunch of different data sources together. And then also spending more time than you would in a traditional LLM chat, which is going to give you a response pretty quickly. The researcher ones are going to take longer because it's dedicating more compute and more time to do this analysis. So we're going to go through 4 examples here, which hopefully you'll find helpful, whether you're interested in networking or job search or both. So the first one that I'll show is just going through and finding some contact information for people that you might be interested in connecting with or following. The second one, we're going to look at research for an individual job. So if you have a specific position that you're interested in applying to and want to get to know a bit more about that position, specific people at that company, and how to get in touch with them, Researcher can help with that. The third one is going to be a personalized job search. So looking at some information that you provide Researcher about yourself and kind of where you are currently, skills and position wise. And then it's going to leverage that to help find jobs that are relevant to that. But in our example, kind of looking to move a step up from where we currently are. And last but not least, having Researcher help us build a career development plan. So again, providing it some information about where we are and our skills and experience and education, and then giving it a target of where we want to go, which could be a general area, or it could be another specific job that you want that maybe it's going to take some time for you to get there. So we'll look at how Researcher can help take those inputs and build us a career plan that we can go and execute on. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the examples. So let's take an example of using Microsoft 365 Researcher AI Agent to help building networking connections or to follow and get some more information from people that you might think are interesting. So, I'm interested in kind of what's going on with AI and society, and occasionally you'll get, different things about conferences that are happening. So this is one that I got recently from the Georgetown Law Technology Review. You can see there's a whole bunch of information, lots of different people speaking. Um, this is not something that I'm going to be able to attend, but I was like, you know what? I bet there's a lot of interesting people here that I might be interested in their content, but it's not really easy for me to go and find them and follow all of these people. And even if it was, take a little bit of work, something I probably am not going to do on my own. So I said that, let me see if Researcher can help me with this because it's really good at taking a look at some content that you provide and then going out and doing a bunch of searches on the web, bringing information back together and presenting in a way that's useful. So I just gave it the URL for the flyer that I just showed you, and I want to tell it to find every person and organization that's mentioned in it. And then I wanted to see if for each person in each organization, do they have a LinkedIn profile and a blue sky profile. These are the two platforms that I'm interested in. I think what's cool about this is you can plug in whatever you want. If you want to look for them on X, if you want to look for an individual website, you know, just adjust the prompt as needed. So then I wanted to create a table, one table for the organization, one table for the people, showing the name, whether it's a person or the organization, their LinkedIn profile, and their Blue Sky profile. So taking a bunch of information, there's a lot there, and saving me a lot of time, and frankly, time that I wouldn't spend going and looking all this up. Then you can see I get a really nice table output. These are all the organizations that it found, the LinkedIn profiles where it finds them. Similar for Blue Sky, if it couldn't find one, it tells me that. And again, it's not a big deal, if it misses some of these things, as sometimes generative AI can do. But it is really helpful for me to have all of these here. I can just click on them and add them in directly to the people that I want to follow or connect with. Same type of thing for the specific people mentioned. And then you can kind of go through that table. So really helpful. And if you're looking to kind of network in certain areas or find interesting people, I think Researcher is a great tool for that. So let's take a look at how Microsoft 365 Researcher AI Agent can help you with your job search when you're looking at a specific job. You want to get some more information about it that maybe isn't in the job listing, and you want to try and make some networking contacts that are related to that job. So you can go in, try and find out some more about the position and maybe get yourself ahead of the line in an application. So I just picked a relatively random job that had come up on LinkedIn. I tried to pick a company here that wasn't super mainstream, so there may not be as much information about it. And I also looked for a job that didn't have any salary range listed. So that's often something that you want to know, and it can be frustrating if it's not listed in the title, or in the description of the job. So we're going to see how Researcher can help us here. I'm going to show the prompt. I'll share that in the notes. So we're simply going to ask Researcher to look at the job posting, just put in the URL that I had. We want it to review the job. And because there's no salary range there, just say, hey, go out and do some research. Tell me what the likely salary range is for this position. Then I want Researcher to take a look at the company, find out some information about it, look at the team, anybody they can find associated with the job. Having a networking connection or somebody directly involved can really help you in the hiring process. And if you know who those people are, you can try and connect with them. So put a little more specific here. If I could find the hiring manager, who the recruiter is, any team members or people who work closely with that team. And then I'm also going to point it to my LinkedIn profile. Let's say, see if there's anybody that I'm already connected to in my network that might be related to that company. And if you do find people, give me their name, give me their email, and ideally their LinkedIn profile. So it's going to give me a way to talk to them. So it'll ask for some more details. You can provide more. The more context you have, the better it's going to be. But for the time being, we just went ahead. I've run this beforehand because it does take a few minutes to run. So it's going to give you some more information about what I found. You can see here it's giving me different salary range estimates based on different research. So I can look at that and use that to inform my job search, whether I'm interested or not. give me some background around the company. One of the things that's great about research is you have a lot of citations and links that you can use. Um, it'll tell you about it. It's found some people in a different team structure, different roles, um, different information about them there. I'll keep going down. Um, so it creates a nice table where it's got people here. It has their LinkedIn profile, um, part of it, part of an email there, and kind of it's interesting, and actually where it's been blocked, it tries to extrapolate out what that is. So this is really useful. I can go and use this and try and reach out to those contacts, see if I have anybody in my network that's connected with them, and that's really an effective way to try and cut ahead of some of the steps in your job search. I know it's a tough job market out there. So I think this is an interesting use case for researcher where you might have thought about researcher more kind of in the realm of science or maybe legal research. But here's a way that you can put it to work for you and hopefully help you with your job search. So let's look at how Microsoft 365 Researcher AI Agent can help us go out and look for some jobs that might be a good fit for us and what we're looking to do or what might be important to us. And I kind of think about this almost as like a reverse image search, where instead of searching for the text of an image you want, you may take an actual image, put it in, and find things that match it. So similar concept where you're giving researcher either a document with your resume or your LinkedIn profile or something similar, and it's going to be able to start from all that information about where you are. So in this case here, the prompt I have here, which I can share, is take a look at my resume, look at my skills, my education and experience. Go see what jobs are currently open and posted that would be a good fit for me, because researcher can go out and search the web. It's able to go and do a pretty big search on my behalf and constrain it to what I might actually be looking for. If you're running this in an organizational environment, it'll have access to data within your organization. If there's a specific job board or segment that you want to narrow it down to, you can add some more details in the prompt. I kept this pretty open ended. I said, just give me 5. I don't want a million different jobs. I want jobs that I'm qualified for, and then I also wanted to look for jobs that could potentially give me increased compensation. So it's going to have to interpret what this means. I didn't provide compensation details in the document. You could certainly give some more information and fill this out. So it'll go out and you can it'll ask some questions. We're just going to say use your best judgment and find the jobs. And it'll give us this nice table. Some of these jobs, they relate to things in my resume. Then I can go out and take a look and see if I'm interested in. So just a different way to kind of look for jobs that are out there and take some of the drudgery out of the scrolling through results, and potentially find some jobs that you didn't find just looking manually. So hopefully that helps you in your job search, narrowing things down a bit. All right, let's see how we can build ourselves a career development plan leveraging M365 Researcher AI Agent. A career development plan can help you in a lot of ways, whether it's trying to get a promotion or advance your level or maybe move into a different role. And we're going to provide researcher with some information about us. In this case, I've uploaded my resume. You could give it your LinkedIn profile. You could write a bit about yourself. You could do a bunch of things. And this one, I kept it pretty generic. The more specific details you put in there, the better it'll be able to generate output that matches what you're looking for. So we've asked it to look at my resume, build me a 1, 3, and 5-year career development plan to move into an AI research position. So I kept it pretty generic here. If you have a specific job in mind, you could give it that job description and have it build off that. You could give it some more details. I'm just keeping it pretty vague here. So I look through my resume. I can see some things that are related, some things that are not. It has some more questions. If I were actually doing this for real, I would go ahead and answer these questions. But for the time being, just telling it to go ahead and build a plan using its best judgment. And it really did a nice job giving me a really thorough breakdown of some specific goals, picking a specific research domain, which makes sense, starting to do research projects as soon as possible, and getting into publishing, which is important in research. And it did it within sort of the different timeframes that I selected. So here's the 1-year short-term plan, midterm, And then there is a longer term plan here if I scroll down. So the more specific details you can provide it, the better it's going to be. And even if you don't necessarily leverage this plan exactly, it may give you some insights that you want to use to build your own. Because simply by building the plan, it's going to help you think about where you're at, what skills you have, what opportunities you need. Sometimes, if you're doing this in a work environment, an organizational setting, there might be a template that you need to fill out. If you're going to work with your manager or somebody who's supporting you, that's something you can provide a researcher as well. You say, here's a template. When you build this development plan, format it so that it fits into the context of this template. So again, researcher, great tool, not just for scientific or legal research or academic research, but helping you in terms of career development and skill growth and figuring out, how to break that down, because it can seem daunting, especially if you have a goal that feels far away from where you are now. So give it a try, and hopefully it helps you in your career journey. All right, so we've gone through our 4 examples of using M365 AI researcher agent, or researcher AI agent, I should say, to help us with networking, job search, and our career development plan. Lots of different use cases that you can use it for, but it's not just research in an academic or scientific sense. So whenever we want to go out and spend some time pulling in information from a bunch of different sources, doing that on our behalf so we don't have to kind of go through that drudgery, and helping put it all in one place in a way that's synthesized for us, that can be really useful. So I hope you find that useful in your networking, career development, and job search life. Again, if you like the content, please like and subscribe. Look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks.